Another day in quarantine. What's on the schedule for today? Crap. How am I supposed to enjoy my vacation, handle my quarantine, when I have bills to pay and zero income? Maybe I'll have better news in my email today. Dear Robert, we really liked your resume. Really? And would like to discuss with you the job of Analytic National Unit Supervisor. What's the pay? Oh, pay is more than what you're making now. Oh, that's perfect. Click here to start the interview. Alright, well, I just have to get ready. Alright, let's start this interview.
It's about time. I've been waiting here for hours.
I just got the email this morning. It said it was sent at 3 in the morning. So I'm sorry to make you wait. How long have you been waiting? Since 3 in the morning?
That's really none of your business. Now, Robert, is it? Why do you think you'd be a good fit for the Analytic Unit Supervisor position?
Well, I have a lot of experience in the analytic national unit supervisor field, so...
Yeah, I can see that on your resume, that you're the perfect fit for this kind of brainless, sort of non-thinking style work. But I have to say, I'm really kind of on the fence. I don't know. What are your thoughts about other things? Say, I don't know, quantum mechanics.
Oh man, I love them. One of my best friends is a quantum mechanic. He works on quantums all the time, fixes them up.
Well, you did pretty good in the quantum mechanics section here for Analytic National Unit Supervisor. What are your thoughts on movies, though?
On movies?
Yeah, you know, motion pictures, the talkies. What are your thoughts on movies?
I never really thought of that. I do watch a lot of movies.
Have you seen any movies lately?
Yeah, in fact I have. I saw that new Netflix movie with David Spade. Remember him?
Oh, the 1-800-COLLECT guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that guy.
You can dial 1-800-COLLECT. Here's how it works. Dial 1-800-COLLECT.
I don't know what else he's done since then, but there's really nothing else to do during quarantine, so I've just been watching movies on Netflix. And, you know, the great thing about Netflix movies is I can stop to go to the bathroom whenever I want. You know, I don't have to hold it in. Like when you go to a movie theater.
You know, my weird Uncle Lester, he had an expression. It was, you gotta go before the show. Isn't that catchy?
Yeah, that is pretty catchy, and it almost sounds like a movie discussion show. Maybe we should talk about the latest movie we saw. It's called The Wrong Missy. The Wrong Missy is the newest movie starring David Spade, Lauren Lapkus, and other Happy Madison actors that say yes before reading the script. David Spade plays a man who has trouble finding love and accidentally finds himself on a business trip with an annoying psychopath. I mean, a really funny lady. Did we mention David Spade gets sexually assaulted multiple times and raped in this movie? Yeah, he does. But don't worry, it's a comedy. Just not the laughing kind.
Yeah, you know what? Screw the interview. In fact, I'm gonna say that your chances of getting hired are contingent on your taste in movies.
Okay, well, I guess I'll do my best. So welcome to the first episode of Go Before the Show. I'm Robert.
And I'm Steve.
I thought your name was Steven. You want to go by Steve?
Yeah, I think I've been meaning to tell you that since we've been friends, but I'll stick with it because I know you've already used it that way several times. So
this is disgusting.
What?
Do you want to be Steve or do you want to be Steven?
I mean, as long as it's not going to ruin any of the stuff we've already shot, let's just stick with Steve, if that's okay with you.
Steven or Steve?
This has turned out to be the best time I've had with a guy in a really long time.
So I guess we should just talk about movies. Do you mind if I, get more comfortable?
Only if I'm allowed to.
Sure, go for it. This is the only dress shirt I own.
Me too. I mean, I'm very wealthy.
All right, that feels better. Welcome to the first episode of Go Before the Show. I'm Robert.
And I'm Steve.
And on this show, we talk about movies on the internet because we just felt there wasn't enough content like that out there. So why don't we make some?
That's right, there was nobody who could tell us no. That's the important thing about it. And we just have nothing else better to do.
I made it! Yeah! So, what did you think of Netflix's The Wrong Missy?
Oh man, what a waste of time, money, my life.
You're welcome.
People's talent, I guess, because there were some decent actors in there, but
I found myself asking, what the fuck? A lot. I made it! Yeah!
All my teachers can eat my asshole!
I mean, I didn't even ask what the fuck. It was more like, they're still doing this? Because it's like the exact same beats from all the other Happy Madison stuff that's existed since the 90s. Speaking of Happy Madison, what is your feelings towards it? Are you a big Adam Sandler man? Because I can tell you straight up, aside from maybe one or two movies, I know that I'm not.
I will say I'm a bit biased because there are Sandler-esque movies that I do like, and then there are some that are just not for me, kind of like this one. I will say that my expectations were a bit low when I saw the trailer.
This whole time I thought I was texting my dream girl. I was texting that crazy girl.
To the best weekend ever.
It seemed like, from what I could tell, very, very straight man meets very, very wild, random, edgy character. Mm-hmm. And I was pretty turned off by it. But I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I figured, what if they just cut together this trailer full of the wildest spots? And maybe when I do watch the actual movie, maybe this character, the Missy character, is a bit more relatable. And I come to find that no, that exactly what you see in the trailer is what you see in the movie. Non-stop from that character. That character never takes a breath.
You're obsessed with me. We're either gonna end up married or I'm gonna end up dead in a ravine somewhere.
What?
I'm down for either.
She keeps going and is extremely one note the whole time. I was watching the beginning of the movie, and when David Spade, who is this, I don't know if he's trying to play his age, he has his little hair piece thing going on. I don't know what that is, or if that is his hair combed in a weird way. They do acknowledge it in the movie. They apparently know each other through his grandma, which is never really touched upon later. But they have some kind of connection.
You have to read the novelization to get that.
Oh yeah, there's like a four novel series of The Wrong Missy. I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, what are the other titles? Well, you have the first one called The Wrong Missy, another Wrong Missy, and then I don't know, another Missy. No. We're overthinking this. It's the Wronger Missy, and then the third one is the Wrongest Missy.
But whatever the fourth one is, they're gonna split it into two movies.
Yeah, you were talking about David Spade. The whole time while I was watching this, I just couldn't help but think how wrong he was for that part, because I'm trying to go through the mindset here. All right, aside from being friends with Adam Sandler, is he thinking, oh, I need to sort of rework the whole snarky, sarcastic guy and be just, the straight man, the, button down, whatever. Like, what do you think about that?
This role was kind of a David Spade-esque role to me. When you look at movies like Tommy Boy, he always played the, hey, I'm not the crazy guy character.
Right. That's true. But he played it with sarcasm and snark, which are two things that he showed very little of in this movie.
I will say his character, it was, what was it, Tim Morris was the name? He was
the
so
most boring name you could
flat.
think of. Yeah.
I assume, I would like to assume that's what they were going for, but he was so boring, so flat,
Right.
so uninteresting, and he questioned why he couldn't find someone to be with zero personality.
Mm-hmm.
But yet this guy seems to be meeting supermodels,
Your Miss Right was Miss Maryland. You gotta bring her to Hawaii.
getting his ex-fiance to want to be with him again, and I mean, spoilers, we don't want to spoil the movie here, but Skip, well, you made it this far.
I do.
But we're gonna talk about spoilers. We're introduced to Missy in the beginning on the first date, and she is right out of the gate just going 0 to 60 with the characterization.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not too familiar with this actress, so I don't really, I don't put any kind of blame on her 100% here.
You never watched Crashing?
Oh, no, I haven't. How is she on that?
I mean, she plays a real person. So, I mean, she was doing what she was told to do in this movie. I made it! Yeah! And that's the typical, I don't know, party, weird girl, amplified,
To the best weekend ever.
times 10, Super Saiyan level. Yeah, she's not the problem. It's the people behind the camera who are the problem.
She was so extreme. When she was on the date, she's like immediately on David Spade's dick. She's like dipping her hair in like her drink and then acting like it was so just not. It was a cartoon character.
And the worst part is that it wasn't even funny.
Right. It was more annoying. I wonder how that character would work if we got more of a slow ramp. I would be curious, since this character is so extreme and never seems to calm down, how it would work if she had a slow crawl up to that craziness rather than right out of the gate, just in your face, acting weird. Pulling out giant knives and stuff, which seems to be the punchline to a joke, but I think that's how I would describe her, actually. She seems to be 100% punchline and no joke. Mm-hmm. She's just doing random stuff.
Well, I mean, she was the only thing this, dull, by the numbers, Happy Madison style rom-com, had going. And, I mean, if you did tone her down, then what would be left for this movie?
Well, what I thought they were going to try to do later, but didn't really seem to touch on, was giving her a sad backstory where she found it hard to fit in.
Yeah.
And maybe she tries too hard to fit in and she gets intoxicated and gets crazy, but then you realize, she's actually hurting the whole time. That would have changed my whole perspective on her if I was like, wow, this is not you trying to be funny. This is you, trying to actually get people to like you because you don't have any friends and you're really sad about that because you're in the same pool that David Spade is in where you seem to be having trouble dating people, and maybe that is what you two have in common. But they don't. She apparently, they just make her really smart. They just say she's an expert in a ton of fields. She's a doctor. She's a really anything. And this is all that she gets drunk.
To the best weekend ever.
Yeah, I mean, that would have helped out a lot. I mean, it's a little thing called character building.
What the fuck is that?
Isn't normally there in a Happy Madison production. It's all, turn off your brain, by the numbers. We're just going to throw a bunch of, there's always, something with an animal, and you have the shark, and then you had the really sort of basic, Looney Tunes-esque slapstick stuff where she jumped off the cliff and then somehow still survived.
Love you, Dead
Oh my god! Oh!
there's dumb stuff like that, and I just kept trying to think, like, what would make this better? I mean, aside from a better script and character building, like what you just said, I don't know, maybe if they fleshed out some of the other characters?
Speaking of other characters, everyone was no one was as crazy as her. Everyone was crazy to a certain extent. And I don't know if that's just a Happy Madison thing. I can't really recall the last Happy Madison movie I saw. I don't know, is that the process? Do we seem to have these, is everyone a cartoon character in a sense? Except for maybe the main character?
Right, well, I mean, I would say you're probably correct.
Yeah, they have her do there was a few times where I was just kind of like, that's... Because she starts off with sexually assaulting him on the airplane, with giving him a hand job while he's sleeping, which was weird. So I don't know what they were going for there, but they also bring it up later and try to make a joke out of it, and...
Right. But Robert, that's not sexual assault, because if you're a man, you automatically want it from anyone. According to this movie.
Later in the film, at the end of the crazy night or the crazy day where she gets really wasted and jumps off the cliff and is fine, David Spade falls out of a window out of a bar, but she drops down a cliff and not one ankle is out of place. That night, David Spade decides on purpose to take a dog tranquilizer pill. I don't know why he does that.
The reason why he decided to do that was so they could have an excuse for more wackiness, because crazy things happen when you take dog tranquilizers. Apparently, it's like, it's a magic potion or whatever, because people don't just, go to sleep and have sex with people in their sleep on the regular basis unless they take a dog tranquilizer.
I didn't even know that dog tranquilizers were a thing, I'll be honest.
I think normally it's like horse tranquilizers. I don't know.
That's what I thought it was. I thought that would be the joke.
See, you don't know what you're going to get from a dog tranquilizer, Robert. You don't know who you're going to end up having sex with.
Why not a donkey tranquilizer? Isn't that more funny? Is that funny? It's a donkey.
Oh, that's just that's too obvious.
Well, it would make him more of a jackass, that's for sure. Alright guys, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Alright, so I kept asking myself this question. Like, who is this for? Who is this? Is this movie for us who grew up watching Happy Madison? Because that also brings me to the casting of David Spade, which we've already talked about quite a bit. Is like, isn't he... Alright, of course they wrote it in that he's old, but shouldn't that be some sort of 35-year-old, some sort of up-and-comer in playing that role?
Right.
I mean, why him?
Yeah, I think that would have made more sense if they got an up-and-comer, like, stand-up who, is maybe he's coming from TV and this is his first breakout role. A few good things that I'll say about it. One, the scene with Jorge Garcia on the airplane. Thought they were just going to do a straight-up Lost joke. Because he's from Lost, and he's on an airplane going to Hawaii, going to an island. And I was just waiting for the Lost joke to come, and it didn't.
Why reference Lost when you can reference New Kids on the Block and then have Vanilla Ice show up at the end? Isn't that hilarious?
What the hell is that?
So, Vanilla Ice shows up at the end of the movie.
For no reason.
Drop that zero and get with the hero.
Other than someone was just a fan and wanted him in there. I mean, good for Ice, I guess. I feel like he's more down to earth now than he's ever been. Can we talk about Rob Schneider? I don't know what the reputation of Rob Schneider is with the public. I have to say, man, I really think Rob Schneider was the best part of this movie. He seemed to be the only character that genuinely made me laugh.
I was thinking that I was going to be saying the same thing, but he was just guy missing fingers to me, and he didn't really... I didn't chuckle when I saw... And I wanted to. I was like, hey, it's Mr. You Can Do It. Because I think that's what people know him for the most. There was a lot of times where I'm just like, why is he here? Just in certain scenes, like when he laid down on the boat to ask for mouth to mouth from any girl. I'm like, that's such an obvious joke.
That might have been improvised for sure, but I'll say to his credit, like he at least brings a character to it.
Sure.
Because I feel like he tries. Like Missy is just, I'm just gonna act wacky. I don't really see her as like a really in it character. David Spade's boring, but he at least had some kind of character to him that even if all of his jokes didn't land, some of them did for me. I found him kind of the breath of fresh air of the movie. The other breath of fresh air that I had was there was a moment, and I think it was like halfway through the movie, where we didn't get one break from Missy, where anytime she was on screen, which by the way, if she's the comic relief, anytime she came on screen, I was just like, oh, like I was the whole thing shut down. And there was a moment that I realized where there was a scene where she was just, talking, being crazy, and they cut to David Spade talking, and they cut to her just listening, which I don't think they had done that shot yet of her just listening without her talking, and that felt amazing. The fact that I was seeing a shot of her just standing there, not saying anything, and just being a person. So David Spade ends up having to take a flight to Hawaii for this work function, and accidentally bumps into she was a woman in the Miss America pageant.
Yeah, Miss Maryland, something like that.
Very attractive supermodel woman, and they bump into each other. Their tickets get swapped. They're both late for their flight, so they have a drink at the bar. At the bar, they find out they have so many things in common. They both don't drink. And David Spade keeps claiming that, oh, you don't need a reason to not drink. You could just not drink. Which I think is a nice little message, because I know people that don't drink and they really don't have a reason. They don't have any kind of trauma that happened to them that didn't draw them to the bottle. They just don't. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. But later we find out why he doesn't drink, and it's not the biggest. If they're building up something, man, do they just crash and burn. So they find out not only do they not both drink, but they also both have read the same product placement book for the movie, which was some book by Tom Clancy, some James Patterson, I don't know, book. And that is enough for this supermodel woman to take David Spade into an airport janitor's closet and just start making out with him, because she can't resist the charm of having 5 things in common. So he ends up asking Melissa, who he thinks is the supermodel one, to go with him to this Hawaiian getaway, which is another thing that I feel like Happy Madison does sometimes, where they just go to a resort, almost like an excuse for the actors to have a vacation. He ends up texting the wrong Melissa, and crazy Missy shows up instead.
This whole time I thought I was texting my dream girl. I was texting that crazy girl.
Whoa!
We get the joke of she was about to jump off a bridge, and the second he texted her, she decided not to jump.
Whoa!
Also, I want to ask, when it's revealed later that she was jumping with a bungee cord, they show her getting that text message in like the morning in Portland, and I'm not sure where David Spade is at that moment, but he texts her at night. And even if he was in Florida, where was David Spade located? Was he also on the West Coast? Because that was one thing that I'm not sure if that's just me. So we get to Hawaii and we meet his ex-fiancée and her new fiancé, he felt so out of place and wild as well. And I don't know if they were trying to set up something where, oh, he's also crazy just like Missy, maybe they'll get together and then he'll get his ex-fiancée back.
Yeah, I was thinking that exact same thing. I was like, oh, I see how this is going to go, because I've seen, a bunch of movies like this before, unfortunately. Yeah, he's going to get back with his much saner ex-wife, and then this wacky guy is going to end up with, with Missy. And then they even had that scene where apparently you're allowed to just go wander around massage parlors looking for people, opening doors, because you're David Spade, I guess. And he opened the door, and his ex-wife's new husband or boyfriend or whatever he is, the wacky dude, was in there getting a hand job.
Well, they had that scene in the massage parlor to show that he's cheating. So, by letting this... Because later, it's justified that his ex-fiancée is cheating on her new fiancé with her ex, aka David Spade. I guess that's why that was there, to justify a weird threesome.
The three-way. Just justify the weird three-way. But the funny, or rather sad thing, is that there was never any closure to the ex-wife and the wacky boyfriend. Like, you would think they would have showed them breaking up or something, but they were just sort of swept under the rug.
She's so wacky that in that montage they show her just eating hand soap out of a hand soap dispenser for no reason other than she's weird.
There was a reason though, Rob.
Oh, what's that?
Which doesn't make any sense, but they made sure to clearly have a sticker on the soap dispenser that said like 0.5% alcohol. It's because she's a lush, Rob. Isn't that funny? Alcoholism is funny. One of the pluses for me was Winstone, the boss. Like when they hypnotized him, I thought that was kind of funny. And again, it's a terrible cliche, boss treating his assistant like crap. But when the assistant was like, coffee? And he's like, no. And then he's like, should I drink it?
The assistant stuff was funny. Their interaction felt like real. But yeah, speaking of the hypnotizing thing, that's something that bothered me, but not in like a joking sense. Because throughout the whole movie, David Spade hates this girl, thinks she's crazy, which he should. Even the midpoint of the movie where they kind of break apart. I don't know if that was meant to be sad, where it's like, oh, it's like when the two best friends break apart midway through the movie and then they have to learn to work together again. It felt great when they broke apart. There was never a moment where I felt like, no, Missy, come back, he needs you.
No, she was irredeemable.
She's alive! Damn it!
After she hypnotizes his boss, he starts to like David Spade. And then that's when he starts to like her. And I thought, like, wait, do you only like this girl when she's trying to help you in your career? Is that the only reason why you like her? After he starts getting his boss to like him, they start liking each other, but she's still crazy. There's even a moment when, and this is the scene where he reveals what happens when he's drunk. He starts to like her, but even in that scene, he's still like weirded out by her, still like thrown aback. And in my head, I'm like, dude, like even though you're becoming more open-minded to her, why are you still trying to force this relationship to happen?
Didn't make any sense.
Just get out of there. So I guess I'll reveal what the big thing was why David Spade doesn't drink, and it's because he does handstands when he drinks. That's it. He does handstands when he drinks. So he doesn't drink anymore.
Damn it!
So then he breaks his cardinal rule and he drinks and does a handstand, and a hilarious bout of slapstick genius falls and hurts his ankle again. But he's okay in the next scene, so what does it matter?
When the other Melissa shows up, I think it's supposed to be that scene where, let's say you have a lead female who is given the guy with no money a shot, and then the rich perfect guy shows up at the end, and this is her doorway to the life of luxury. Here it is. But, you know, you as the audience member, you're like, yeah, but he's an asshole. This guy treats you well, and you obviously have a better connection with him. Go with him instead. I didn't feel that with this scene when the other Melissa shows up. I felt, yeah, and they even cut to Missy in a car driving away saying how she's going to kill him if she sees him. And I'm like, yes, this other girl is so much better for you. You like each other. She's still nuts by the end of the movie. Why? This character development felt so forced. It felt so like, no, they have to be together. And I know they have to for the sake of this kind of movie, but man, it never felt organic ever. I'm curious how the writing process goes for these kinds of movies. You know, again, I don't know this actress that well. This could have been producers telling her, hey, you got to amp it up. She's wackier than that. Who knows? Maybe she approached this role more relatable for all we know.
I think it's highly probable that the script might have actually started out as something relatable. You know, maybe there was a scene where Missy got dumped and David Spade ended up with his ex-wife or something, and then she ended up with the wacky dude or whatever.
I think I would have liked the movie more if it was more people were, as bad as it sounds, if people were more emotionally hurt, where she's overcompensating for people, because I feel like a lot of us are victim to that, where we try too hard to get people to like us, and that could have totally been her, and then her realizing maybe in the end, like, hey, you know, I don't have to overcompensate for anybody. Like, I'm gonna be me, and you know what? If you want to be with me, I'm not changing for you. I'm not toning down myself for you.
Right.
I'm gonna be me.
Right.
I don't know. I would have liked to dive into more of the human emotion behind that, rather than just saying she's crazy, she's wacky. Like that. That's just kind of a missed opportunity for me.
It's called Happy Madison, not Sad Madison, Rob.
They should call it Wacky Madison.
There's a good ideas here, Rob.
She's wacky. She does things with her eyeballs. She's wacky. She drinks soap because there's alcohol in it. Which it looked like there was an open bar. Why are you drinking soap?
Okay.
Is that what people want? Wackiness? I could be wacky.
Okay.
I could be wacky. This is a real lamp. This isn't a prop. So I guess my question to you, Steve, is, I mean, would you tell anyone to go watch this movie?
No. Maybe people I don't like, but for my good friends...
That's a lot of people, Steve.
But no, I would say skip it. There's so much content out there, and good content, that you don't need to waste your time watching The Wrong Missy. How about you, Rob?
I would say that if you are someone that is into screaming at your face kind of wacky humor non-stop.
I'm bleeding! No! All my teachers can eat my asshole!
If you like that kind of stuff, then I would say you probably will like The Wrong Missy. So, I mean, what do you think? Do I seem like the guy for the job?
I must say, you're off to a pretty good start, but it's too early to tell. You see, here at this company...
Oh yeah, by the way, what is the name of your company?
Stop it! Shut up! I'm talking here! It's going to require you to watch not just one movie, but many more movies, until we're able to decide whether you're a good fit or not.
Okay, that sounds healthy. I guess I'll see you then. Oh, and don't forget... Don't forget to go...
No, Rob.
Before...
Don't work in the title, please.
No.
Don't.